This is going to be an awesome masterclass because when we were putting this together, I was like, this by far of all the masterclasses that we've done, that we've hosted, I think is going to have the most practical value for you all because it's going to be loaded with just all sorts of content that you can take. And you don't have to take everything, but some of these things that we're going to talk to you about today, some of the data points or some of the memberships that we're going to be showcasing, it might make a huge impact in your business. And my hallucination is you're not going to just have one, you're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5 takeaways that can really make a big impact in your business today. So thank you for joining me. Today, it's going to be me. In case you don't know, I am Phil Sitter. I'm the founder and CEO of RepeatMD. And we also have an incredible speaker, Dr. Guire, and she's going to be joining us. One of the hottest memberships out there, and we'll go over this, are weight loss memberships. And so Dr. Guire is going to give you her 6-figure weight loss blueprint in which she launched and has an incredibly successful weight loss membership program. She's just going to give you her entire blueprint, what to say, how to say it, what's important, and also the exact membership that she uses. So if you've been thinking about a weight loss membership program, who better to hear it from? And she's awesome. So I'm excited to bring her in, and she'll tell you a bit about her story, and then also how she launched the program and how it's going. So it's going to be a good one. And we also have an incredible agenda here. Show you the agenda here in a second. But if you don't know, if you're not a client of RepeatMD, our company RepeatMD is the fastest growing software company in health tech today. We have over 1 million patients in our platform, now 3,500 practices. We have to update the number because we've generated well over $1 billion now, which I'm super proud to say. I think that the value that we've created in the space has been incredible, and our partners and all the people that have supported us in the last few years to get to this point, we wouldn't be here without them. So thank you all for being a client. Thank you to all of our partners for getting us here. And then we're a multiple award-winning technology company. We're not just in the med spa space. We are now in dermatology. We're in plastic surgery offices, some dentists, wellness clinics. We've gotten more and more wellness clinics, specialty weight loss clinics, et cetera. So the good news is a lot of the different things we show you, doesn't matter if you're a med spa, wellness clinic, or anything in between, it's going to be very relevant for your practice. So again, thank you all for joining, and let's get started. The agenda. It's going to be a packed one. And of course, let me show you the bag. This is a beautiful little bag here today. We got ourselves the Repeat LV bag, Louis Vuitton, this beautiful pink, summertime sadness, summertime swag, whatever you want to have. We're going to give that little baby away. My CFO always questions why we do these things. And honestly, I don't even know anymore. I don't know why we give away a bag at every webinar. But I do know I have a damn good time doing it. So if you love the bag, if you want us to keep giving away the bags, if you want my CFO to read the comments, light up the comments and say how much you love the bags. I need something. I need something to hold on to here. So let's talk about the agenda. Why memberships matter. That's where we're going to get started today. The definitions you need to know, the stats, the value of creating a great membership program, the best memberships of 2024. We sold $50 million worth of memberships. We will tell you what are the best memberships, what is selling the most, what are the ones that you really want to consider adding to your practices. Dr. Guire's 6-figure weight loss membership blueprint, that's going to be a home run for you. And then some real examples of membership success. We'll show you a few different memberships, and maybe borrow some what they're doing, maybe reinvigorate some of the memberships that you have, or if you haven't started yet, you've got the blueprints. You're going to get exactly what people do, and I think it's going to make a big impact. And then I would love to leave you with what you can do to sell more memberships today. We're going to have these just quick hits of what you can do, and maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 of those things, you apply one of them, boom, you see an increase 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%. I love this topic because I know what a big difference it can make in your business. And then the top 9 learnings that we've had as a company seeing all of you sell memberships today. So it's going, yes, Elizabeth, I have asked, she says, we wish it were a car. I have asked, could we start giving away a car a month? That did not go well. I did not, it was not well received. But a car a year, I think we could do that. So next MedCommerce event. Um, it's an exciting agenda today, and I'm really excited to not only be here with you, but also, again, I think it personally, I think this is the highest value the highest value masterclass that we've done. So let's do a quick poll here. Let's see if I can get this going. Can't publish polls. Let's see. All right, there we go. Poll here. Are you selling memberships in your practice today? You should see the poll. Please vote. Love to know who the audience is so I can make sure I gear it towards both or just one. Okay, so far it's like an 80-20 split. We've got yes, about 80%, no, about 20%. So I'll make sure to cover both. And it doesn't matter where you're at, right? We'll talk about that as well because I would love to know exactly where you're at. But if you haven't started yet, this is going to be a home run. This is going to be one of those things that when the people that have started, it's the information that they wish they had while starting. And if you already have memberships, I think we can take you to the next level today. So why memberships? These are some generic stats. I'll show you industry specific here throughout the presentations. But most importantly, it's all about retention, is getting your patients to come back in more often, spend more money. That's the essence of memberships. You can do the math. A patient that comes in 2 times a year, 3 times a year versus a patient that comes in 8, 10, 12 times, they're just going to spend a lot more money. Okay. The next thing, members of loyalty programs or subscription services tend to spend up to 20% more. I'll give you exactly what this industry spends here in a bit, but they spend more. And again, it's sort of like an obvious thing, right? It's like if you come in more often, you will spend more money. That is why memberships really matter to me, right? Getting your patients to come in more often without some of your marketers out there, without having to spend all this money on acquiring new patients, right? Doing more with the patients you already have tends to be the unlock in small business growth versus trying to go out there and find all these new patients every single month. And then membership and loyalty programs have been shown to boost conversion rates up to 15%. We're going to show you a way to boost conversions of even higher, but membership-based pricing are some of the things that we'll talk about, converting into your high margin services and packages. Okay. But also, memberships are everywhere, right? You can't go any industry really at this point has memberships. So us as consumers, we are buying memberships to almost anything that it is that we do now. I even have a membership to deliver water to my house, right? People have the Bark boxes or, of course, the Netflixes or the Amazon Primes, Dollar Shave Club. There is a membership product in every single vertical at this stage. And I remember being in the room at AM Spa, at Medical Spa Show, probably in 2021, and only about 40% of the room was doing memberships. Now I'll go into the room, or even this poll, you'll see between 60 and 80% of practices doing memberships, right? So they're becoming more and more popular. There's some businesses out there like Glow 360, it's an upcoming franchise that all they sell is just memberships, right? And then upsells from those memberships, but you have to be a member to even go within the practice. And so memberships are so popular because not only do patients find so much value out of them because they typically are value forward, but also it's because that's how the modern patient is doing a lot of their budgeting, right? And you'll see even like companies like Peachy now selling Botox memberships for full face treatments. And it's really interesting to see how the consumer does their shopping and their income to debt ratios. And as you continue to grow in this business and you start getting clients that are even younger, this is how they shop, right? They have their memberships for everything. And I would even say I have an iPhone membership, right? I don't go to Apple and buy a $2,000 iPhone. I go to Apple and I buy a $150 a month iPhone, right? To be part of their Apple upgrade program, which is a membership within itself, right? And the thing is, I've probably paid for my phones 5 times over, but I'm happy as a millennial to pay $150 a month the rest of my life because I'll be damned to spend $2,000 on a phone, right? But $150 a month, okay, for my phone, that makes sense. And I do my budgeting from there. So memberships are definitely everywhere. But my question to you is how much are you selling in monthly memberships today? How much are you selling in monthly memberships today? So you should see the poll. Love to know where you're at. Okay, so some of the votes are coming in. We have most haven't started yet. Okay, we have about 30% up to 2,000 per month. We have about 15% up to 5,000. We have about 11, 12% up to 10,000. A little less than 10% for up to 25,000, which is, I think, a really great framework for this call so you can see where other folks are, right? Understanding where everyone else is. And what I feel confident in today especially is whatever sort of benchmark you're at today, we can double or triple it just off this call alone. Let's get into the meat of it. The three membership definitions. I always like to start at the beginning. We talked a little bit about stats, why they're important, but then I'd like to help you understand the value of memberships and what the definitions of the membership programs are and why they matter, really. First off is MRR. You'll see it on your dashboard in your new membership dashboard in RepeatMD, but MRR will tell you what your monthly recurring revenue is. It's really important to understand what your MRR is because then you can understand and gauge your growth, right? Is having those numbers. We have on our new dashboards, it'll show you month over month over month over month. So you see a nice trend line if your memberships are working. Because here's the thing, and you'll see here in a second what I mean by churn. But if your memberships are declining, that means your patients aren't finding them valuable. And the last thing that we want is to sell a membership and then after 2-3 months your members canceling, right? So understanding what your monthly recurring revenue is, then your annual recurring revenue. We show that on your dashboard as well. Monthly recurring revenue times 12 is your annual recurring revenue. This is absolutely critical for you to know because this is like that sexy vanity metric that if you're ever going to raise capital or if you're ever going to get an investment or franchise, that's the number that you're going to talk about, what your annual recurring revenue is, right? So whatever your monthly is times 12. And then finally, what your churn rate is. Churn is so important to keep your eye on it because it's how we know as a business, especially membership-based business or subscription-based business, if our customers are finding the service valuable. So if your churn rate, to put in perspective, is 10%, right? 10% of your members are canceling every month. Well, if you multiply that by 12, 10 times 12 is 120%. That means in 10 months, you're going to have to resell all your members with that high of a churn rate. And in 12 months, you're actually going to be down 20%. And so what happens with folks that have a 10% churn rate is they don't really notice it, but their numbers never really grow, right? They sell 10, or they sell 100, whatever it is, they lose 10. They don't really notice it, but the impact compound is a membership that stays flat or in that case declines, right? Is if you have a 100% churn rate, right, you have to resell 100% of people. So 50 people sign up, you're going to need to replace 50 people. So it's important to understand what your churn rate is and to really measure that, right? To really be very obsessive. You shouldn't just be obsessive of how many members you're selling. You should be equally obsessive of how many are canceling. Okay. And why I bring this up is because at the end of the day, you're going to want to build a business, right? And whether that business is a legacy business, meaning that it's a profitable business that you and your family can live off of, whether it's franchising the business, selling it to others because you have such a great concept, selling the private equity, whatever the case is, right? And I'll show you how a membership business is going to give you the highest valuation. But many of us as small business owners, we don't really think of the sell outcome. And once we do, it's too late because you didn't build a business that's sellable. So let me ask all of you a question in the chat. So in your chat, what percent of businesses do you think never get sold? So you put the for sale sign up. What percent of businesses do you believe never get sold? So put it in the chat. What percentage of businesses never get sold? All right, the answer 87%. And when we look at that, we have what's called survivor bias, where we think, well, surely we're not going to be part of the 87% that don't get sold, right? We always believe we're the 13% that will sell. The truth is, you're probably going to be more along the lines of that 87% unless you're building a super strong membership-based business. And what's important is, if you are or aren't, is businesses with a strong monthly recurring revenue base receive 2 to 3 times greater valuations than those who don't. I'll talk to you about why, but I want to show you the impact of that visually. So you take two practices, practice A, practice B, similar areas. They're both going to do $3 million in sales. The first one does $3 million of non-recurring sales. That can be high ticket items, Botox, whatever it is. They just do $3 million. They don't have a membership program. They make a 20% net margin, so it's a very healthy business. This is going to be a viable business. They make $600,000 of net cash flow per year. It's a great business. And then they're going to get 4 times forward earnings, which is very normal in this industry. So whatever they make net, times that by 4, they have themselves a $2.4 million business, right? $2.4 million one location, that's fantastic. They've got not only a business that has generated some meaningful cash flow, 600,000, but also business that somebody might want to buy. Let's talk about the same business, but different location. Practice B has memberships. They do $3 million in sales. They do about 2.4 million in one-time sales, so not quite as much as the other practice. They have a 20% margin, the same as the other, right? So they make 420,000 of net profit, 4 times forward earnings. But then they have $540,000 of recurring membership sales, of recurring revenue, subscription-based revenue, right? So 540,000 being like a little over $40,000, $45,000 a month in memberships. Watch the difference. That 540,000 gets 6 times their ARR. Okay, so now they have $3.2 million and boom, $4.9 million enterprise value, right? So the difference is the memberships. And why it's so different is because it's predictable revenue, right? The reason why you get to use your annual recurring revenue and get a multiple on top of that is because the revenue is so predictable. What does predictable revenue mean? The way I think about it as a business owner is the money that your business makes without you having to be in your business, right? And if you think about the two different practices, which one would you rather buy? Would you rather buy the business that's reliant on celebrity so-and-so, or the owner or the lead of that practice? Or would you like to buy a business that's making $500,000 a year, whether that person shows up or not, right? So it's predictable revenue. The second piece is members spend more and visit more often. So if I know that you have a very strong $50,000 a month membership base, right? If you have that membership base, I know that there's so many opportunities, like 12 opportunities a year to grow your business, to sell, to upsell, to cross-sell. And that's a business that's going to become even more valuable if we buy it. And the last piece here is increase in lifetime value. Lifetime value is a really important metric within your space, and it's especially an important metric for private equity for your space. What is lifetime value? It's just a multiplication of what we believe of the lifetime of your patient, what they're going to spend with your practice. And one of the greatest drivers of that is knowing how often your patients come in. Another great driver for it that you should be very aware of is the average age of your patient. Think about it this way, okay? If your average patient is 60 years old versus 25, 30, 35 years old, who do you think is going to have the greater lifetime value? Right? That person in their 60s might need some of your services more than that person in their 30s, but the lifetime value of that patient is so much more. It's triple, really, almost definitely more than double, that business becomes more valuable. So if we're increasing lifetime value, not only do we want your patients to come in more often, but we want them to be a fairly modern patient. And memberships definitely attracts a modern customer. Okay, so these are the key pieces of creating the most valuable business in memberships. So quickly, let's talk about the type of memberships that there are. right? So just real quick, a toxin membership, right? It's like a discount club for their toxin. Beauty bank, which is like a savings account with perks, like beauty savings, if you will. Tier-based treatments. That's where your patients get a choice, right? They might get a hydrofacial or an IV or whatever, right? So just different tier-based programs. Then you have treatment specific, right? Which are specifically like treatments of series or maintenance. I know one popular one on our platform is like an Sculpt Neo, maintenance program. So they might do their initial series and then they might pay for 1 or 2 treatments per month ongoing. And then weight loss memberships, of course. And that's what we're going to be talking with Dr. Guire coming up next, is what her weight loss membership program looks like. So Dr. Guire, we're going to bring her on stage now, but right before she gets going, we'll talk about the 2024 top selling membership programs. So number one is that program. It's the top selling membership program by revenue generated is the weight loss memberships. Weight loss memberships, by and large, are dominating the membership space, not in terms of quantity, sometimes, but mostly in terms of revenue, because they're fairly expensive membership programs and there's high demand for them. The second piece is patient satisfaction for satisfaction and retention, meaning the memberships that most people tend to stay with because they really like are tier-based memberships, right? And the reason why that's important to create tier-based memberships is like, what if I don't want a facial this month? Well, then I'll probably cancel my facial membership, right? Especially if I've accrued 3 months of it. It's like I feel like, okay, well, I already have 3. I'm going to cancel and then I'm going to catch up. And we've all done that, right? If you've ever done like a Blue Apron or Freshly, what happens? Everyone ends up canceling. Why do they end up canceling? Is you get the box every week, then you stack 3-4 boxes and you don't catch up. And you're like, you know what? Let me just cancel this membership. And then after I eat everything, I'll get it back. And then you tend to never get it back, right? So tier-based memberships gives your patient the opportunity to use all the different memberships, or at least try a variety of things. And then finally, the top selling memberships by enrollment, meaning the sheer quantity, right? So it's really good for retention as well, are toxin memberships, right? Because most of your patients, if you're a med spa, come in for their various injectables, et cetera. And this is definitely the one that could also put you out of business if you don't do it well. Too many times I've seen these memberships like lose money because they're not pricing or they're not strategic with these memberships. And I'll show you today a way to make your toxin memberships really not only popular, but also very profitable. With that being said, Dr. Guire, welcome. It's great to see you again. You were a star at our last MedCommerce event, so we had to bring you back a second time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining. So right before we get into your six-figure blueprint, I wanted to talk to you, just for those who are on the call. We have a little over 200 practices on the call today. What's your story? How did you get into the business and how's business going?
Sure. Yeah. So I am trained as an ER physician. I worked in the ER for 10 years, and very soon after completing residency, I knew I wanted to get out. And I sort of came upon an opportunity to buy an existing medical practice that I wasn't expecting, which was pretty much a traditional internal medicine practice that had a weight loss program. No memberships, nothing like that. And, it was doing pretty well. So I bought the practice, and it was always a cash-based practice, so no insurance. And my work since taking over a little bit over a year ago has been really in strengthening and building up the weight loss program, which Repeat MD has been really instrumental in. So, and I'll let Phil, guide some of the questions, but that's kind of where I came from, where I started, where there was kind of a bare bones program here the community was aware of.
You really turned around the program after you purchased the practice. Was it when you turned it around? First of all, when you got in, how did you turn it around? What was the missing link that took the business from doing okay to where it is today?
Yeah, I think there was a few factors. It was an older crowd when I came in, and And I tried to make it have it have a more modern feel. And there's so many places that people can now get semaglutide. You can go on the internet and
Yep.
it's everywhere. So and then you hear all kinds of crazy stories. So we tried models where we did predominantly health coaching, not leaning on the drugs very much, or just using medications. But we found that people really succeed when we provide health coaching.
In person.
It in person. We do allow some telemedicine.
Okay.
Um, we love it when people come in. Generally, people lose more weight when they come in. It's, there's
That's
something about
that's
seeing.
it. That's an important stat, right? And I
Yeah,
think that's something worth promoting as well, because as a business owner, I'd prefer for them to come in more often so we
yeah,
can talk to them about other treatment plans. But there is a tip there as well, is marketing the folks that come in person have better results. So if you have any data for anyone listening out there that your members that come in person have better results, and you have the number of that percentage wise or pounds wise, I'd highly recommend for that to be part of your marketing.
yeah. And that's a general trend that we've seen. And it's not possible for everyone. We now see a
Right.
lot of patients in the area, and some of them are not that close to us. But my weight loss program is a whole body program. We focus on addressing metabolic health as a whole, and rather than sort of putting you on meds short term and giving a band-aid solution, we try to really focus on getting to know our patients and helping them heal their metabolism through food and medication. And with that combination, we find that most people can lose about 25 pounds in 12 weeks,
Wow.
more for men, potentially a little less for women. But when we put together the coaching plus the medication, that's generally what happens.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into some of your pro tips here, and I'll definitely ask some questions along the way. So the first tip: increase conversions by introducing your membership program to your patients in person. Can you talk a little bit about your process? And yours is very coordinated, so I'd love for you to talk about that.
Sure. Yeah. So most people who are interested in our program, we ask them to come in for an in-person consultation. We do offer telemedicine consultations if somebody's that, really doesn't want to come in person, but we want them to come in person, and we encourage that. So when they come in, usually I meet with them, and it's sometimes the only time I meet with them because I have other staff to carry out the rest of the duties. But I meet with them. I talk about their story, what they've tried, what medical conditions they might have, what struggles that they've had, and then introduce our program and how we would help them get from point A to point B. We have a in-body body scan machine, so we look at their percent body fat, percent muscle mass, and then set some goals together of where, what would be a happy weight for them, what would be a healthy, happy weight. And then after I'm done with that conversation, one of my staff members, I have health counselors. I've now I have 5 health counselors who work for me,
Wow.
not all at the same time, part-time. I have a few full-time people, but I have a few of them who are excellent at sales. And once I'm done having that conversation with the patient, I invite the health counselor to come in to discuss pricing and logistics. And then they give the pricing options and introduce the membership as well. We have a non-membership option. I can
Right.
go into
A
that in more
package option, right?
package option.
Which
But
is great if you integrate financing.
yes, and we do, but it's much easier to do it through Repeat MD. And honestly, the way everything is structured and the way we do the sale, most people choose the membership.
Yeah.
It's a natural choice, unless it's one of these people who doesn't have very much weight to lose, who just wants to take off 10, 15 pounds, and it might not make sense because it's a 4-month commitment that we ask for.
Right.
Um, but generally that becomes the better choice. It's a natural choice.
So you go in, many times you do the consult, you have someone come in to do the paperwork or put it on the, get the app downloaded, buy from the app, etc.
Yeah, call it
And
the
so you choose to make that separation based off of trust and sales. Is that why you've made that choice?
yes, and somehow
Just
I find
volume as well.
it's better that when I don't talk to patients about money and sales,
I agree. I actually love that model. That's my preferred model is you
Yeah.
have the trusted consultant or the trusted counselor, in your case, the doctor. And
Mhm.
then after we have that, we have a person come in to talk about the money. And I think that does a really good job maintaining trust and sales and the balance of the two. Because then as a patient, you might feel as though, well, did she really have my best interest in mind, or was she just trying to
Right.
sell me? So I think you've made the right choice, and I think there's a lesson within that as well. So thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
The pro tip number 2 here is increase app adoption by ensuring your entire staff knows about the membership offerings and familiar with how the app works. This is absolutely critical, something we talk about a lot in Repeat MD. But talk me through your process of how did you get your staff engaged?
Yeah. So, we had meetings with our rep, Maria. We had a lot of staff meetings basically involving everyone in the building of our app and understanding what we have to offer. And so everybody knows the app. And if patients ask about a service, most of my staff is trained to have them download the app because that's the best way to talk about it, and then show them what's on the app about the service and put it in their cart. Even if they're like, oh, I don't know, we can just put it in your cart. And if later you think about it and you want to buy it, it's right there. If you don't, that's fine.
Right.
Um, but that rather than giving them a handout or a pamphlet, it's right there on your phone. You can kind of keep the information that way and either make a decision while you're here or make a decision later.
I love that because the decision later happens often, right? Because they go home, they think about it. 86% of our purchases within the app, here's a stat that you all need to know if you're a PDMD client, 86% of those purchases happen outside of the practice. So many times people are going back to like that moment of deciding, but they're doing it from home after they talk to someone or they do some other research, et cetera, some validation, all those pieces. What time commitment would you say that your team is doing when it comes to that interaction with the app, like showing them how to do it? Is it 60 seconds to 5 minutes? Like how involved is that? Because it's definitely has to be part of the process. I'm just curious on the time that takes.
It's very short,
Okay.
and again, it depends. Sometimes people ask about our other services and our front desk.
Absolutely. And they can find all of it too. Yeah.
Exactly. So the front desk, we have a QR code to the app up front. The front desk knows how to help people download the app and direct them to what they're looking for. And that is a very quick process.
Awesome.
It
Yeah.
takes any time.
And folks, I'll tell you 100% of the time, the people that have the most success with sales on their app are the ones that bring it up. Like it just your patient yes, you have the QR codes. Yes, some patients will download it. Every time the folks that have the success that Dr. Guire has, it has to be part of their process to bring out that awareness and give permission for that patient to take action. It's a weird thing. Like some people will do it, but most people, if you ask them or tell them it's part of your practice to have the app on their phone so they can see the services get rewarded, they will just do it. So if your team's not, you have to be doing that. It's always the most successful people. It's always part of their process. Just a shout out on that. And Dr. Geyer, you're another pro tip, and I love this quote that you talk about. Make it easy for your members to buy and then never have to pull out their wallet. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, sure. So our initially the weight loss program was structured in such a way that people would pay for the program to enroll into the program and then pay separately for their medications at each visit. So it was dose dependent and
Mm-hmm.
depending on which medications they were on. So with the app, honestly, we had one sale before we got the app that was like a blockbuster sale where we included the meds, but we made like no money because we just priced it too low.
Yeah.
But we realized that everybody just loved having the meds included in one easy price.
Right.
And I think that's why many people opt for our membership rather than doing the program and meds separately. Um, So basically, if you're on the membership, the cost of your medications is included. And whether we go up or down, all the clinical decisions are just based on what's going on with you, how your weight loss is going. And you don't have to think about, can I afford this each time?
Right.
It's automatic. It just happens on its own.
And you know what the best part of not having to pull out your wallet? It's what we call the concert phenomenon. Is why you pay for tickets, why concerts don't like to sell tickets at the gate is because if it's already paid for, then you can go spend a lot more money on booze and shirts and merchandise, etc. Imagine if you went to a concert and had to pay the hundreds of dollars for the ticket. All of a sudden, when you go to the concert, you're not so willing to spend more. And so, especially with your formula of having them have it prepaid, right, which membership programs are in a way, is now they're very open to all the other opportunities because in their mind, that box has already been checked and budgeted. So that's another piece of that. So that's brilliant. I love that you do that. And then pro tip number 4 here is generate increased profits by making your weight loss program accessible to more of your audience.
Yeah. So I think we were referring maybe to the price point. So ours is
I think so. Yeah, I think you have a variety as well.
Yeah. So there's our weight loss programs $4.99 a month. And most people are, compared to paying out of pocket for Ozempic or Mounjaro, this is a pretty good deal, and it gets you a lot more than just a drug. So we found that price point works really well, and our profit margins are great there.
AJ had a great question. Well, I'll just bring this in real quick. How do you structure bonus or salary for your health coaches to do the sale? You have some great salespeople. How are you structuring that? It's a great question, AJ.
It is a great question. And we don't actually have a bonus structure, although, I'm still new. I only bought the practice a little over a year ago, and our practice is growing quickly. And I have.
Are they just salary based or are they commissioned as well?
They're salary based, but I'm giving raises on a regular basis as we grow. So
got it.
I think
so. They're very much a part of your success in that way.
Yes, and I think they know that they'll be a part of the success going forward. I'm very lucky to have committed staff, and people are excited. I also think people really believe in what we're doing.
Yes.
We're really helping people address the root cause of a lot of disease, and for full transparency, so I came from the ER, and I stole a bunch of staff and brought them with me. So wow.
That's good. Better quality of life, I'm sure.
A better quality of life, and also people. I took some ER techs with me who were great at blood draws, great at all these things, but we all saw the end stage of all these metabolic illnesses. You know what it's like when there's nothing you can do to help people anymore. So I think people are just kind of excited about what we're doing in addition to that. But and honestly, when we first got the app, we did have a bonus structure where I was giving, we were keeping track of how many people each health counselor was signing up for a membership, and then they were getting $50 per membership.
Okay.
Our membership.
Would you say that helped you, the launch? You would do that again?
Yes. Yeah, I would definitely do that again.
Why I like that you did that in the beginning is it got them familiar with the process and got them into the habit of talking about it. When I launched my restaurants and I had a bunch of restaurants, I always started with heavy incentives while we launched because it was so hard to break habits without monetizing or incentivizing those habits, right? If I wanted them to sell a certain thing, especially when we launched a thing, I always incentivized it heavily because sometimes it just took that time to make the habit. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a great tip there as well. And then finally here, hold your patients accountable with weekly check-in and tips. How do you do that today?
Yeah, so we check in with our patients. Part of our weight loss program, I don't put people on drugs unless they agree to the weekly check-ins, and some people prefer a phone call, but again, a lot of people do come in, and it tends to improve their outcomes. And with weight loss, it's not rocket science. A lot of people know what to do, but it's very hard to do. It's hard to keep remembering that that's your goal, or keeping that keeping your focus on your goals.
Right.
So it's a lot of accountability. It's a lot of refocusing. It's a lot of, okay, let's look at this objectively. What went wrong last week? What can we fix? It's a little bit of hand holding, but a lot of, we talk a lot about building new habits. Like what we're doing here is we are using medications, which make it much easier to build new habits. But the point of going through this program and working with us is that so you can build new habits that you can take with you for forever. And also, once people are done, once they've reached their goal weight, we offer free monthly body scans for life.
Oh, cool.
And we do like a free check-in with them once a month, which is great because it just gets people in the door and seeing us. And
that's brilliant. Yeah. You want them just in the door, right? Because you paid that patient acquisition, and then that the door opens a conversation, opens curiosity. By the way, we just got this new treatment. That's a brilliant tip. That's great.
Yeah. So that's worked really well for us. And
I want to make sure everyone heard that. Could you say that one more time?
Yeah, sure. So anyone who's done our program membership or just purchased a program can come in for free monthly body scans for life. And when they come in, we do like a 10-minute visit with them and review the results. And then we can make recommendations for, we also have a hormone program. We do
free marketing for life. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we do liposuction as well here. So try to make this comprehensive
awesome
weight center, and we do some skin tightening. So so it's nice to have people back in through the door, and again, using the app to have conversations about other things.
Right. You know what I love about bringing folks in like yourself that have had success is the success is not a secret. It's step by step. It's a system of success, right? Making sure that you launch it well, incentivizing that launch, talking with the patients, bringing in that sales coordination process that you have. Even what you just said with the body scans coming in for life. So you're always having a trickle of folks, just welcoming them to come back and not having to pay for them to come back. And all the different pieces that you've done here. It's like you have a system of success. So it's such a pleasure to have you to show how possible it is. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing those tips. And we've had a lot of questions of what your program looks like, and so we added it here. And you guys, we'll put this on our YouTube as well. And we also have an exciting download that Dr. Guire put all of her tips on a download so you can share it with your team. But I'll quickly show you this because we're running out of time. And Dr. Guire, thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure to hear you, and congratulations on all the success that you've had with your practice.
Thank you.
All right, folks, there's the QR code here. And if you want to have her blueprint of success, we go a little bit more in depth here. I think it's a great tool and a great resource to share with your team, review, and see all the things that Dr. Guire does, including what her membership is. So she's cleared well over 6 figures now with her membership sales, and been pretty damn quick at it, right? Like she's not in business for 5 years. She just purchased her practice, I believe, 18 months or 2 years ago now. So really awesome that she was able to share that. So let's continue here. We're running out of time. So real examples of membership successes. So we brought Dr. Guire in to talk about the weight loss piece because I think that was incredibly important, incredibly insightful. I hope that you were able to get some tips right from there, something that might change the game for you. Let's talk about some other real examples of membership success. So the first one we're going to go over is tier-based memberships. Okay, so take a look here. Here's a silver membership. Here's a gold membership. I'm gonna go fast. You can screenshot. We'll put it on our YouTube, et cetera. It's not for you to have to write down. We'll give you that information. We'll send you the recording. But this tier-based membership, free Botox Dysport at sign up, 30 units. We did have a question. What was Dr. Guire's minimum commitment? That was 4 months. Then 8 hydrofacials in this case, 10% off products and services, 1 BBL, 1 IV therapy, and then for $180 a month, free Botox, 15% off, 12 hydrofacials, 2 BBL photofacials, Cyton BBLs, 1 cool sculpting or neo treatment, 2 IV therapies, right? These are every month, right? So let me show you exactly what the difference is at this practice, this exact practice, their data, what the difference is between members and non-members. This is their exact membership that they sell today. The results, a non-member, their yearly spend is $1,609 per year. Take a look at the difference. Members' yearly spend is $4,037 per year. Okay, that's a 250% difference in spend. So, what would you do to grow this practice? All you would do is say, you know what? The difference is getting more members. So now a coordinated sales process, a $50 bonus for every member that person signs up, anything, their social media, their advertising, their magazine, all they should be doing is driving more membership sales, right? Because we already know one for one, boom, I can get more people to come in. Okay. Sloan, you asked why would someone need 12 hydrofacials in a month? I think I missed something. That's a great question. One of the things that they do is they let their customers share those facials, right? But it's not that they just get 12. I'm going to go back just for you here. It's that they get a choice, right? So of all these things, they might get 2 BBLs, but in their hydrofacial, they'll have a choice of either a hydrofacial or a cool sculpting treatment, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do your tiers in a variety of ways. So let's take a look at tier and talks. And in their case, you can also share it, right? So I'm a member there, boom, I can give my wife one. And then you got a new customer. So $199 a month for beauty and wellness. And then their elevated one is $450 a month. I think one of the interesting pieces here is that the $450 membership actually sells more in this practice than the $199 one. So one of my tips that'll come later on is like, don't be afraid to sell $400 or $499 a month memberships. Now it's not as much volume, of course, right? But they don't need as much volume compared to the $199. Okay. And so just quickly, you can take a look. It's a tier and talks program, so they can redeem one monthly. Then they have member only pricing for Toxin that keeps their practice very sticky. They've got good perks for that. And then they have, $50 birthday, $200 off of this, $500 off of that, et cetera, et cetera. And then on the beauty and wellness, the other one, the plus, you get to redeem 2. Okay. So you get to redeem 2. And going back for a second, I just want to mention, I believe as a business owner, it's very okay that if you have a member and they want to share some of the perks, not the percentages off, but some of the things that they have, like this redeem 2 monthly, why not bring a friend? They're paying for it already. I see some business owners that are a little stingy. They're like, well, no, that's only your membership benefit. No. You're missing the point. You should be advertising that they can bring in a friend. Why? Because if it takes you between $90 to $300 to get a new patient in and you're looking for patient acquisition, why not let them bring a friend? Is the craziest thing, what I don't see people doing this more often, is if you have a membership program and that person can't use it, but their wife, cousin, sister, uncle can, bring them in. That's fine. We should be talking about those things. You can grow your business without having to spend more money on marketing. Okay. The results here, their average member spends a little bit more, non-member, $1,367. Take a look at what their members are spending, $6,055. That's a 442% increase. Members versus non-members. Again, how would you grow this business? Sell more members. Advertise it. Run it on social. Incentivize your staff. XYZ, because we have 12 at-bats or 10 at-bats. They come in all the time compared to non-members. We can upsell them. We can cross-sell them on all the other services that we have. Okay. Now, real membership example, beauty bank with benefits. So you see the price points, $99, $149, $199. Here are the different memberships, right? So what they do is they give special pricing for Botox. They give special discounts for all the other things, but the $99, the $149, the $199 rolls over. So they're not spending $99 for the access. That $99 is going into their beauty bank, which they can go spend on other services. So that's what they're doing. And as you can see, they're crushing it. In 12 months, their MRR is $108,000. Their ARR is 1.3 million. MRR's monthly recurring revenue, and their annual recurring revenue is 1.3 million. That is a great membership program. That's a business that's thriving. $108,000. How are they doing it? They've re-engineered the beauty bank to create that savings, but also cross-sell all the other services that they have. And they give special pricing on Toxin. You should never be discounting anything to anything under members, anything other than to your members. Okay. So moving on, top learnings selling $50 million in memberships. Let's go through this quickly, and then I'll give you 7 tips to sell more memberships. We're getting close on time, so I'm going to move fast here for you. Number 1, practices who incentivize their staff sell more memberships. Okay, 600% more. Across the board, if you divide our customers who incentivize their staff, whether it's to launch or whether it's ongoing, the average practice is selling 600% more. The difference of that is 2,000 to 12,000. For all the folks on this call today, if you just want to grow memberships, make your staff, make your team, make them a part of your success with selling, okay? Whether it's commission, whether it's $50, whether it's collective. Hey, folks, if we sell 25 memberships, then we'll have a pizza party. I don't care what it is, but something, and measure it daily or weekly so we're tracking our success. It shouldn't be a secret that you're successful, and it shouldn't be a secret what your numbers are when it comes to your membership program. And the reason why it doesn't have to be a secret is because they have an incentive as well, right? So, incentivize your staff. Number 2, practices who show the savings or value of their membership sell more, almost twice as much. Okay. This is what we call buying by logic, okay, and emotion. Logic is the value. The emotion is, I really want this. I really like this. It's why we buy the cars or clothes or whatever else that it is, right? And Maddie, I want to shout out to you real quick. It says this is ending in 4.5 minutes. We're going to want to extend this because I have probably about 15 more minutes to go in a whole raffle to get through. So we don't want this thing to end in 4 minutes. Okay. So if you can stay on with us. We have a beautiful bag and a few other things to talk about. But where I'm going with this, with gold membership and black membership, notice it says $2,300 value, $4,600 value. It's really important for you all, if you want to sell more memberships, to let your members know the value that they're getting. $99 times 12, $1,200, $2,300 value. This thing looks like a steal, right? Using that logic-based selling framework is going to be important for you to help make more of those membership purchasing decisions. Okay, practices who offer sign-up offers convert more, right? And they convert 32% more. You sign up for the membership, you get this. You sign up for membership, you get a free facial. You sign up for memberships, you get a free IV. You sign up today, you get 10 units of Botox. Whatever it is, if you have a sign-up offer, you will convert more, about a third more. Don't be afraid to sell high-dollar memberships. Dr. Guire selling a $499 membership. We see countless practices that are selling hundreds of dollars, not $20 a month, not $100 a month, but $200, $300, $400 a month memberships, not in terms of volume, but in terms of revenue. Have a high-dollar membership, but make it something that you're really proud of. Don't make it where, you're selling for something for $450 a month and you're not really proud of the value, right? It's important that if you're going to sell these big ticket memberships, that they truly are valuable. $450 a month is a fucking car payment, right? So make sure that there's value there. Here's an example of a $450 membership, highly successful here. You can take a screenshot of that or get the recording later. And then another thing is Tox memberships are great, but many times they're broken. Good news is they're fixable. Okay. So here's an average Tox membership, $99, right? They get 10 units per Botox or whatever the case is. This is garbage. What you want to do is Tox memberships work because people buy them because they justify this as something. Instead of paying $14 a unit, I pay 10 a unit. So it's like an obvious savings for them. That's like 40% savings, whatever. Like they want them. But you have to be using Tox memberships to drive patient retention, which is what it does. They keep coming, but as a way to introduce your patients to high margin services through special pricing. So if you have high margin services, then you're really going to want to make sure that it's very obvious that they get 10, 20, 25% off what other services that you have. And then as they're coming in, for the love of God, you got to be talking about the other services and the discounts that they would be getting because they're a member. Okay. And let's talk about like membership discounts, because I think this is an important topic, um, to continue to be a luxury brand, which nobody wants to go to the Groupon, med spa or plastic surgery center or the discount center. What they want to do is go to a place that they feel like is a luxury brand, that you want those patients that will gladly spend more, right? So don't discount your services, but always use membership only pricing to remain a luxury brand and sell more memberships. Let me show you what that looks like. This is restoration hardware. You can have this one chair for $20 or $3,000, right? One chair, $3,000. One sofa, $18,000. Restoration hardware, probably the top luxury furniture store in the world. And what they do is they don't discount anything, but they do have membership-based pricing. And again, it's complete luxury. It's like $22.95 as a member, $3,060 regular. And those are the capabilities that you want to show. In our app, we do that for you. When you create what we call smart benefits, it'll show, hey, this package is $5,100 or it's $4,500 for a member. And as they're adding this to the cart, they can actually buy a membership at the same time so they can get those savings that very day. But using luxury-based pricing strategies is something that you're going to always want to do, and you're not going to want to just discount your treatments without selling a membership. That's really important. Okay. And 7, sell more memberships by making it easy to buy from anywhere at any time, right? Dr. Guire, one of her key fundamentals, that why she sells as much memberships as she does, is because she makes sure that the patient gets the app, adds it to the cart, lets them buy then and there or from home. Why? Because if you give them the pamphlet or just tell them about it, you have to wait for them to come back to your practice to buy, and you can't buy off a pamphlet. What do you think someone's going to do? Is open up the pamphlet and just call you and say, hey, I want this membership? No one's got the time for any of that. It's not rational. It's not going to work. What people do all the time is, boom, it's in my cart, double click, Apple Pay, done, finished. That's how you sell more memberships outside of 9 to 5. Your business in 2024 should never be limited towards your operating hours. So think about that. Why would we limit our business 9 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday in 2024? We want to make sure that, especially if you're leveraging Repeat MD, that your patients are aware so they can buy from any place, anywhere, anytime. And really, that is why we built our platform, because we combine rewards, memberships, e-commerce into your own mobile app. And ultimately, that gives you a whole new source of revenue and gives your patients the best patient experience. Okay. And so that is what we do. I'm not going to go into a whole sales pitch here about buying RepeatMD or anything like that, but that is what we do at RepeatMD. We build mobile apps designed exclusively for your practice. And in case that you don't know what it is that we do, we have these videos online that'll show how it works. So you can watch that on your own time on YouTube. You can see exactly what it is that we do. It's pretty awesome. Okay. Let's talk about, if you're a RepeatMD client, we've had some updates to memberships. I want to go over this with you real quickly. And if you haven't seen it before, this is how our membership program works. It's all on your app, all the different memberships that you can have. You take a look at the screen here. You can see all the benefits that your membership program has. You can see what you get a choice of every single month. You can just see the membership-based pricing, a 6-month membership bonus. These are called milestone bonuses. And then boom, you can just check out. So again, you go to memberships, you can see the variety of membership that you have. You can see the price, you can see the commitment. You get a sign-up bonus if you want to turn that feature on. That's available for you. And then it's just really easy to join the membership program as a patient. It's incredible patient experience. But also what it does is reward your patients for their loyalty for being a member for 6 months, 12 months. That's a fairly new feature called milestone bonuses. But then it also removes operational headaches for you, right? One of the big things that it's like the sort of nightmare with memberships is credit cards decline. It's called credit card dunning. What we do on your behalf is we do the credit card dunning. Our system automatically tries a card 3 different times, puts a big red bar on it and says, hey, update your card, etc. At least harness the power of technology to do most of the work for you, so you're not having to call 25, 50, 100 members, okay? So also upsell, right? So take a look at that. Upsell with memberships, right? Sold effortlessly, right? Is as your patients are making these big purchasing decisions, $2,000, $1,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, they also get to see what the price of these things would be as a member. And that's a real opportunity because right as they're adding it to the cart, they can buy a membership at the same time and get the discount, right? So we added all to your app to make that super easy. This is called Smart Benefits. So if that feature is not enabled, because we've had all these upgrades lately, the V2 upgrades, make sure you talk to your client success specialist, right? So we can work with you to get all these live. I love reselling these things because we're a software company. Every month we come out with new features. Every month we make this better. It's what we do with the investments that we take is to make this better all the time. Tyler, you asked a beauty bank feature anytime soon. We have folks that have created a sort of beauty bank system with RepeatMD, but an exclusive beauty bank feature, something that we think will be revolutionary for the space to take beauty banks to the next level, is something that we're currently working on as well. So let's talk about 7 ways to sell more memberships today, right? What are different ways? Maybe try 1, maybe try 2, shit, maybe try 3 or 4, see what happens. But let's talk about 7 ways to sell more memberships today. Number 1, membership only pricing, with whether you have RepeatMD or not. If you have RepeatMD, you have to turn on Smart Benefits so you can have that feature. It's complimentary, it's part of your platform. We got to turn it on, show membership-based pricing. And if you don't have RepeatMD, just make sure you don't discount your services unless someone buys a membership. Okay. It will automatically sell more memberships for you. Offer sign up reward. Again, one of those things, I keep talking about it. People make decisions quickly, right? We have a 2-second mind. Our average purchasing decision is 2.96 seconds. We want to make it easy and rewarding, right? Reward your new members. I don't care if it's a skincare sample kit or whatever it is, but offer a sign up reward for your members and you'll see display savings and value. Again, we buy off of logic, right? We want it off emotions. We buy off logic. Show, boom, right there, what you would be saving for the year or the value of your memberships. A membership party. FOMO is everything. Every one of you on this call today, I would ask of you to do a Christmas party for your members or do some summer party, whatever, red carpet, work with local vendors, bring in champagne and charcuterie, right? Reward your members. People love a sense of community. You could even invite non-members if you wanted to showcase the benefits of your membership program and just call it a membership party, right? And those folks that are members get certain VIP bags. Those who don't get to see what your membership program's all about. You can get shirts made. We've seen all sorts of membership parties, but it's really important to give your patients that feeling of community and FOMO for those who don't have one, okay? Member for a day promotion. You can run this through RepeatMD as a flash sale or a week. You can do it within your practice if you don't have us, but you can give people 20% off on a random slow week or a random slow day to feel what it feels like to be a member, right? So if your memberships, your platinum membership gets 20% all the services, you could just run a promotion for a day, for a couple days, for a week with a promo code and advertise it as you get to become a member for a week or a day. And then not only will you see a lot of sales because you're running a significant special, but also your patients will start thinking, oh, well, this is a membership benefit for their memberships. Well, let me get that and then I'll get discounted services or membership-based pricing for all my other treatments. This is a really popular thing to do. And I'd recommend that if you're looking for ways to create specials without making it feel like you're just discounting for no reason, membership for a day promotion is a great promotion. Okay, membership milestones. If you want to reduce churn, there's nothing better than having a 3-month or 6-month or 12-month milestone. It's an automatic feature that we have, but boom, right there in 6 months, they get a reward for being a member for 6 months, right? And it can be an awesome reward. I think it's really important to make sure that it's not enough that we're just providing value. We want to provide extraordinary value so people are loyal to your practice. Okay, so that's an idea for you. And the final idea is if you want to go crazy in the new year and you want to really increase a lot of membership sales, you can give a first month free or you can get 50% off the first month, right? Offering a percentage off, 50% off your first membership or a month off is a great way to build memberships. I will tell you, you will have a really high churn rate that next month, probably anywhere between 20 and 40%. But at the end of the day, That's 60%, 80% of people that you might have not had before. So if you think that's worth it, and if you want to increase your volume, running a first month fee or 50% off our first month of membership, not the entire membership, just the first month, is a great way to introduce volume. But it does come with the downside that you're going to have a high churn rate for that first month, that you just have to know that. But again, making all these pieces, a lot of memberships is a game of awareness. The people that do memberships the worst, number one, shitty value. Like, why would I join this thing? Number two, you can't buy it from anywhere. You give these little pamphlets out and you hope people buy. And number three, you never talk about it. And you think the membership fairy is going to sprinkle memberships all over your practice. And that's not going to happen. I haven't seen the membership fairy, but I did film an ad where I'm dressed as the membership fairy. So you'll see that coming up, I'm sure. So, so with RepeatMD, again, if you're not aware, 86% of our purchases are incremental to your practice. They're outside of the practice, and our average enabled RepeatMD client increases top line revenue for 22%. We keep putting out case studies of people that are doing 200%, 400% increases. Dr. Guire has had massive increases, well over 22%. The difference is how committed are you to make this a part of your practice and the success within your practice. But we'd love to grow with you if you're not a client. And this is a really awesome announcement. I keep showing this on the webinars. I think Chris Balby is on the call as well. But one of the things that we just launched, we started it with Chris and we've now expanded it. Chris has 2 per month, but you have exclusive access to our industry experts at no additional cost. So whether it's Adam on marketing or Lise on building profitable membership programs or learning how her sales system has sold millions for clients, Chris to run sales and promos, how he does it in his 5 practices, Dr. Amanda Holden, how she's gone, from 1 location to 6 to selling to private equity, or John Wheeler, who's CEO of Alpha Aesthetics Partners, who's a private equity fund that buys med spas or wellness practices as well. These are our experts that have weekly webinars, 30-minute format on a presentation, 30 minutes of Q&A, so you can ask them directly your questions. It's at no additional cost to RepeatMD clients only. We will send you a link if you haven't had this yet or you haven't had access to this yet. It's on your admin panel. You'll see book an expert, or right after this webinar, we'll send you a link to sign up. This is something I'm so proud of because I love learning from others who've done it before. And that's something that we continue to do here at RepeatMD.